is fantastic to see.
Video of the Young Turks. This was did it 8 months ago. I was looking for one particular video about just their opinion on racism, because they had an opinion on racism about people's haircuts, how it's racist to ask or give a compliment about somebody's haircut or hairdo. But it's about refugees fleeing Ukraine that face racial discrimination.
See, unfortunately, there are increasing reports that there has been some discrimination among neighboring countries in regard to which Ukrainian.
So there's been a discussion about neighboring countries, which
they're willing to open their arms to. In fact,
I didn't catch that. Like how stupid you think people are, and how long you're gonna perpetuate this madness from your mouth.
Some discrimination among neighboring countries in regard to which Ukrainians they're willing to open their arms to. In fact, it's becoming so much of a problem that the...
Alright, so neighboring countries, they don't want certain Ukrainians, like those Ukrainians. I mean, maybe they have do you have a Ukrainian citizenship? Let's see what Anna Kasparian over there, informs us in her own way.
UN has even addressed it. The United Nations has admitted that some
non-European refugees, non-European. Well, I mean, Ukraine is in Europe. Let's see here, and I'm gonna get to that level. I mean, that later. How? Let me see. I found a good map. It takes me a while because some are just images, right? And this is another video. Like it's like ads, but all right, come on. See, it's like the first thing come up. It says ads, but it's Amazon. Amazon, wait for a lot of Amazon. Why? I mean, it's a very, very just capitalistic business or organized society, and some Fight Club stuff. And then, obviously I get the images, but not the rhyme. But anyway, I'm going. That's another video. Here is Poland. That's where I'm from. And here's Ukraine. This is the continent of Europe. I'm not getting into like Russia is split in half, or 35, 65, or whatever, but Ukraine is right here. It's in Europe. Yeah, and she's just so ridiculous.
European refugees have faced racism while trying to flee to safety at Ukraine borders. The organization's High Commissioner for Refugees acknowledged this in a statement, and
it's a time of war for Ukraine. Yeah, I mean, if other refugees from other countries want to, take the time to migrate, maybe they just don't want them from other countries, They're letting refugees come from Ukraine because they're getting bombed and they're getting destroyed, and people don't want to die and their children to die. Yeah, there's poverty and sickness and disease and all sorts of things in other countries as well. But we're talking about the Ukraine, and they're facing a crisis, a different kind of crisis, a war crisis. Which countries though, Anna and Junk? Why don't you go on their soil and talk to the commoners, right?
Comes after a number of Black, South Asian, and Mediterranean refugees shared accounts of being blocked at borders while trying to make crossings, while white Ukrainians have been prioritized. Now,
Yeah, alright. They're talking about Africa, South, number of Black, alright. Black, South Asian, let me see. South Asian. So it's India, Pakistan. Yep, they pretty much look Palestinian in that picture. I would have said maybe India. Who knows? Maybe Afghanis, maybe Pakistanis. Yeah, what are they making their way to other countries or through Ukraine or to other countries? Were they always migrating? Maybe. The fact is, why is she perpetuating this? Well, Black people aren't allowed, and why Ukrainians are allowed to leave while they're getting bombed? How ridiculous. I know the Young Turks orders are, a lot of them are pretty idiotic, and they believe this nonsense, and they perpetuate this racial towards the Black man. But in reality, they probably, hate human beings nonetheless, and hate life. They just perpetuate this ignorance, this anger and hatred, And I'm pretty sure we're going to watch the next Karen video. Like, that's a thing trending right now, an obese white woman or an elderly white woman. Yeah, there's creepers and degenerates all over the place. They are as well. They just hide it pretty well. And I mean, this is more does more damage than some white traditional white woman going off in a temper tantrum. I mean, they're all over the place, and they they get a lot of viewers, and people see that and perpetuate this dumb stuff. It's I just I just couldn't believe how not just petty, but they're probably gonna say, "Oh, we didn't know that." What do you mean you didn't know that? You perpetuate this anger, violence, hatred into the world.
White Ukrainians have been prioritized. Now, we've been talking a
What? I mean, again, with the white Ukrainians. Like what the fuck is that?
little bit about the difference, the double standard that we've noticed with, let's say, Muslim refugees coming from Middle Eastern countries versus Ukrainians, and how they've been accepted with open arms. And we love to see it with refugees regardless, right? Like, we don't want Ukrainians to be
I'm sorry, I don't want to see refugees. It's the real fucking truth. I don't want to see fucking her. She has fucking what? She has United States citizenship, and she's freaking, on the internet, all over the internet, she's famous. And she's a, what would you say, a model citizen, Like somebody like, wow, she must have a really great life. Her brain's in the fucking gutter. Who knows? Maybe there are refugees. I'm saying at a time of war, yeah, they deserve to be a better place. But who knows? I mean, I'm not going to get into the mentality of people. It's just that, there is, in a time of war, famine, destruction, you take people in, you don't want to lock them up in another country. Should it be better design a place for refugees and for them to grow, this and that? Does it exist? Yes, it does. Probably do Muslims. And I'm not going to point 9/11 because, people just hate nonetheless. The United States, a lot of people enjoy that. They push that 9/11 stuff. They wanted those two towers to go down. They wanted to kill people in there, and they wanted to start war in a Palestine country. And we're talking about Muslim, overly religious people, or just guys that have beard like me and wear this. Because I was called an Arab in a behavioral group by a bunch of Haitians and white women. So traditionally, I'm a Palestinian to you, ignorant and narrow-minded people. But I'm not Muslim, am I? See, I'm not a worshiper of any of that. So we're talking about people. Are we talking about religious people? Or you just, do you even care about, them doing 9/11 and stuff like that? Or we're talking about a certain group of people that are brown, or you just perpetuate this dumb, ignorance, racist shit? Because that's a narrow-mindedness. To be that deluded and stupid, I'm pretty sure you think some shallow, creepy stuff like your race is a little bit better, and you try to talk like somebody else, except your mind is in a different plane that I don't want to comprehend a lot of times, because it's just all over the place. And yeah, how the hell am I an Arab when I have a scarf or something that you took from me for like a week because you were scared, and you don't want that here, right? And then you're gonna say I'm more black than you. I mean, people are just mentally retarded, And ironically, I was in there for my mental health, which they, and what is their mentality, which they clearly don't have, and they don't use their brain, and they love to be an oppressor. Black people, especially the ones I met. Well, she's not any better. She just does it a little bit differently, with a little bit of suave and sophistication. It's not TV. It's fucking retarded.
Rejected. It's actually wonderful to see that. It's one of the things that's giving me a little bit of hope in humanity. But to see that this is, that they're even picking and choosing Ukrainian refugees based on their skin color, based on their race, is so incredibly depressing. And
Ukrainian refugees, and then she's talking about non-European refugees. She's talking about non-Ukrainian Ukrainian refugees, and then she's talking about why you already know though. It's just, I'm waiting for so there was black people and brown people in Ukraine, and they pushed them aside. Is that what it is, Anna? Because that's what she's trying to come
The way
off
that
at.
they're talked about, the way that refugees are talked about in the media when it comes to this particular war is also pretty devastating and depressing to see. So I want to start with the...
Wait, what is so depressing to see? It's depressing you. Are you really hurt? You need a mental day. I'm pretty sure you have all the days because you're mental as fuck. And not just she's. Who knows what's in her mind? But it's a play on words.
When it comes to this particular war is also pretty devastating and depressing to see. So I want to start with the first example.
I gotta get a better system, but all right.
Refugees based on their skin color, based on their race, is so incredibly depressing. And the way that they're talked about, the way that refugees are talked about in the media, say Muslim refugees coming from Middle Eastern countries versus Ukrainians, and how they've been accepted with open arms. And we love to see it with refugees, regardless, right? Like, we don't want Ukrainians to be rejected. It's actually wonderful to see that. It's one of the things that's giving me a little bit of hope in humanity. But to
the eye there, she went to the side like that. Let me look at that as well. And by the way, I'm not using your boogeyman technology to, get in her mind, though it's pretty easy. She just, she gives it up like she gives up anything else in her body. But alright, here we go.
We don't want Ukrainians to be rejected. It's actually...
We don't want Ukrainians to be rejected. That too.
Wonderful.
She's very depressed, smiling, laughing about it.
To see that, it's one of the things that's giving me a little bit of hope in humanity.
Right there, just like a split of a second, she just looked like that. Giving a hope to humanity, like before she said it, like, oh my god. It's a physical language. I mean, I don't think I ever studied that. It just, someone that's from planet Earth, I kind of picked it up. It's not a sense. It's right there.
And we love to see it with refugees, regardless, right? Like, we don't want Ukrainians to be rejected. It's actually wonderful to see that. It's one of the things that's giving me a little bit of hope.
It's sneaky out. It's very slowed down. What other kind of creature just, slows down before they say something, like, let's say, they don't care about? I mean, did that look like an understatement? I really care about you. Like that.
Humanity. But to see that this...
The eye thing, just like, they go to the side, very sneakily, very slowly, and then she comes back. It gives me a hope in humanity before she says that. I mean, I'm not saying she's looking at jank, but maybe she's just like trying to get away from that wording, before she says it. And you can tell the deviousness on her, like she just, she doesn't mean it. She's just being snake about it. She's being false about it.
Is that they're even picking and choosing Ukrainian refugees based on their skin color, based on their...
So now they're saying, she says it again, they're all Ukrainian refugees, and they're picking what? On their skin color, and they're Muslims. I mean, yeah, are they probably Muslims in Ukraine? Probably, but very few amount. Should I look about it? It's like, why is she talking about Ukrainian refugees? I hope they have a link to a story. It's an independent. Probably gonna spit out the same stuff she says, but you in the midst got you with the snake stuff, huh? Like you didn't know. Snake in the grass, right there. And there's a whole field of them, including your little Patreons and all other people. UN admits refugees have faced racism in Ukraine borders. Alright. That's the same guy that they pointed out. I mean, did they come to Ukraine? I mean, I think there was an influx of people in 2018-19 going either to Russia and to Ukraine, or going through Ukraine to Russia and just staying there from, like, Africa. I mean, those lands are connected, but if I'm wrong, then I'm wrong. But black people that live in Ukraine told the Independent they have been abandoned during the worsening crisis. I mean, I'm not going to state the obvious, but it's like, let's say you're in Poland, and you're like, kurwa, murzem przez Ukrainę jest jeszcze chuj co. Talk to them, don't talk to me. I mean, if I was like, like a true, actually right now, to Poland, alright, Lucas. I mean, is it, whatever, whatever, just fuck you. Go over there with a gun and, see what's going on. It's like something like, I think you like, I don't think you're from Ukraine? Nah, just, it's like, wow. I took it too far. I don't mean it, man. But, I'm not saying, I'm going to retract this and apologize. It's just that, okay, and you know what? Register. No, I'm not going to fucking register. It's like, why you give me a link when I got to register this shit? That's another thing. Like, alright, you posted links in the description box. But it's like, I gotta register to that particular site, and their little newsletters, this and that, for just to read one article. What is this? Wait, what is this the link? I didn't read it. And I can discuss on the Young Kasparian. You gotta look it up. Young Turks watch live weekdays 6 to 8. Okay, so you've given me a link to your. This is the actual channel that I'm watching it on. I mean, why would you even do that? So it's like, and this is what I'm talking about. I can hardly get anything done because it's just like, this is just not just mistake, but just the ineffectiveness of all of this. Could there be people facing discrimination? Probably, maybe, but you know, I just caught it. Maybe I just caught it up.
Race is so incredibly depressing, and the
Yeah, those are the nations surrounding Ukraine and Gulf in a time of war. I probably shouldn't use that word. No, not not the Gulf wars. Forget it. Ethnic groups. 77.8 Ukrainians. What is talking about ethnicity as far as, you know, nationality goes, right? Is that an ethnic group or ethnicity is a grouping of people who identify with each other on the basis of shared attributes that distinguish them from other groups? That could be anything. I mean, you know, I'm a YouTube content provider, so I don't like anybody. Those attributes can include common sense of tradition, ancestry, language, history, society, culture, nation. Yeah, that's a very broad term, but I always thought it was like geez, confusing. But anyway, but it's talking about countries: Ukrainians, Russians, other. So people from different countries, cultures, are probably, you know, races as well is 4.9%, I believe, right? That's a very small percentage, but it could be a lot of people because Ukraine does have a couple million people as well. Religion, 87.3 Christian, 11% no religion. Let's look at race. That's the history. Population, oh yeah, a little bit more than a couple, 41 million, 41.1 million. Some Ukrainians getting excited because, you know, he knew the exact number, just, you know, based on wording, you know. He got me with that. 2001 census. How does it not? Etymology, anthropology. Early history. Golden Age of Kiev. There's a Kazakh. Yeah, I read about the Kazakhs. Interwar Ukraine, World War II. Yeah, I don't think it's gonna show here. I think it would show on a side panel. Constitution. Yeah, I mean, these are all the references, I guess, or like, you know, following links where you could get more info. Topographic map. Yeah, I'm not gonna get into it right now. I mean, I don't wanna. What would be 5% of 41 million? Let's say, ooh, I guess more than 10 million, right? 10 million people. No, that can't be. That's 1/20th. So, 2 million people. 2 million people. 2 million, roughly around 2 million people that could be, you know, not Russian and Ukrainian living in Ukraine, which could be Polish as well. But it's not about that. My first instinct was she was saying non-European, whatever, you know. It's
the way that they're talked about, the way that refugees are talked about in the media when it comes to this particular war is also pretty devastating and depressing to see. So I want to start with the first example. This is Charlie D'Agata, who is reporting live from Kyiv. And just pay close attention to the wording that's being used when describing some of the refugees here.
this isn't a place, with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen with all due respect, like Iraq or Afghanistan, that has seen conflict raging for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that, or for decades. This is a relatively civilized, relatively European, I have to choose those words carefully too, city where you wouldn't expect that.
Civilized. I mean, what about that guy? I mean, are they civilized? Is it just, a palace everywhere you go in Ukraine or Russia? There's a lot of poverty there. And there's a lot of, rural areas where, things happen.
Or hope that it's going to happen.
Are you choosing any wording carefully there? Because that was...
No, he really means it.
That was insane. That was insane. And that's not even the only example I've got for you, Jane.
Yeah, so there's two different racial elements here, unfortunately. One is we've seen how folks respond when it's darker skinned and particularly Muslim refugees.
Is it that? I mean, I'm not going to point to the Ruski, but you should see some of the people that come from the town or village I lived in. I wouldn't want to touch them. They do stuff where you sneeze. A lot of people don't know how to sneeze and properly cover yourself as well. But they do stuff with that you just, you kind of would be disgusted. And they're white. They come from a village and, you would say they're civilized and they were hurt by the Nazis. And, you got to have sympathy. And you call them Polacks. You know how to spell it. He does, but is it really about the skin? It's just about narrow-mindedness. I see people as worshippers religious. I got disgraced by a lot of people of color. I mean, it's just narrow-minded and it's ignorant, and they don't have any respect whatsoever. So I don't play that game, but I understand how people might see that, considering you're a narrow-minded fool.
So the wars in Iraq and Afghanistan have been brutal, and remember, the people that are coming in from Iraq and Afghanistan were our top allies in those countries. Translators, people who risked their lives to help American soldiers, sometimes saved American lives, right? And even so, we just showed you a video last week from here in Los Angeles of a woman going, I'd rather save animals than Afghan refugees.
Disgusting.
And so, now on the other hand...
I don't know, I mean, that's how it's in Iraq and Afghanistan. I don't know how I would see the American soldier. I don't fucking know how I'd see them. Like, who the fuck are you invading my fucking country? What the fuck did I do to you, huh? Some people say, holla holla, billy boo. Yeah, I'm being an asshole, but we think you people did that shit to your own people. You think, we have, 19 is hijackers, a lot of them from Saudi Arabia or something, right? Some of them were. So what the fuck you do in our country when you have, Saudi Arabia has, a certain percentage of your GDP in your economy? So some idiot on fucking Vaughn Live, some retard crackhead meth head could make fun of that shit and all you people believe her and just push that to the side? I mean, you guys are a bunch of pigs and retards. You instigated a fucking war. On this soil, you people conspired to do that. I don't have proof, but, look at your commission, how you just, shoved it aside. Crossed a bunch of things with a black marker. You're not too honest. So let's say I live in the country. Who the fuck are you bringing your tanks? And I don't give a fuck. You don't follow politics. Listen, asshole. You're driving to my fucking village in town. I don't give a fuck about saving you. Those fucking creepers fucking, they want to detonate supermarkets. You're creating destruction as well. Who the fuck are you? And this clown faggot is going to say, they came here, they supported soldiers, they helped America. Really, asshole? Would you pick up a fucking weapon and go there and fight? You get smacked in your fucking mouth.
The Ukrainians are being open,
well, the Ruskies, they didn't help, but, what the fuck are you to say they helped? So what, they told on people and now you're saying you want them to survive? Is that how it works? They get bloodied by your fucking, gorilla-minded weapon?
With open arms. And I want to double down on what I said. That's fantastic. I want people to accept Ukrainian refugees. That's awesome. Thank you for being open-hearted about that. And of course, there's jokes now going around. I told you guys yesterday about the
jokes going around right now. There's jokes going around. How fucking when I made a video about Chatterbait, some retard that would say she was Ukrainian. She had the tits out in the open, and she turned the lights off. She was living in Romania. All those fucking idiots, giving her money. Jokes going around. Why don't you get on her fucking case, retard?
First, you're joking about, well, the Ukrainians Yeah, we can have them here too. And remember, church are Muslims. So my point here is that there's a lot of things that go into these calculations, right? But yes, when you stop people and go, you're white, you're black, or you're Indian, you're not in, that's pretty clear, right? Let alone the macro ways that we have dealt with refugees across the world and here in America. Okay.
I don't get it. I don't get it. We're talking about refugees from the same country experiencing the same crisis and the same war. How do you have empathy or sympathy for one group of refugees coming from the same country that's being, hit with the same war, and somehow dismiss or belittle the trauma that refugees of color are experiencing in the same conflict? How is that possible? Like, I don't understand it.
Do they experience the same trauma as the non-colored with a U? Yeah, well, I don't know. I don't give a fuck anymore, or some shit like that, right? I mean, this is ridiculous. I thought they were for non-Europe, non-Ukraine. So why don't you just call them Ukrainian citizens, refugees, but of different racial background, right? But, you look at your snake eyes and, talk about you have hope for humanity. You don't like humans. I'm a human being. I'm alive. I'm not dead. I'm not a worshiper. I don't kill people. I'm a human being. I'm from this planet. You hate me. I got proof of that on video. How ignorant, retarded, and ridiculous you are towards someone like me. And I have to be black like some of you people think of me. And with a watermelon and Kentucky Fried Chicken. Yeah, I can make dojos. Go fuck yourselves.
I just don't get it.
I get why. And so
he gets why. So if he gets, he just really he's gonna, tell us.
The reason is people, unfortunately, are intensely selfish. So whatever feels like closer to their identity, they empathize with more. They relate to more. It feels like them.
Yeah, like what? Like, you're an inhumane prick that just violates people. Oh, look at the face. I mean, it just happened by accident. But yeah, people identify like that as well. But I've seen a lot of creepy, demented stuff going around. Like, people were throwing people under the bus, not literally like some of you want to, and including people I associate some of, and they degraded me, and I didn't do anything to another. Do people play that part? Yes, they do. But a lot of times, heathens are heathens, and criminals are criminals, and they stay together. That's how I see it. Inhumane ones.
But anything that makes him feel like someone else makes him feel like the others. And unfortunately, skin color is the easiest one. They go, she looks like my daughter. They don't look anything like anyone's. And by the way, it's the great majority of the time.
She looks. Maybe it's like, who the fuck cares?
It's subconscious, right? There's plenty of times where it's conscious. Right? Don't get me wrong. But I bet you a lot of people that were at those borders that were stopping the black and brown folks, and they would stop someone like me, probably thought, I'm not racist at all. I don't know what you're talking about. I just don't know where they're from, right? They're crossing the Ukrainian border. Where do you think they're from?
Well, I don't know, Jank. How about let me see your fucking passport? Because anyone could cross the Ukrainian border twice, idiot. Go fuck yourself.
But yeah, that's what people do. And then in terms of helping Ukraine, we basically got a worldwide blockade of Russian money, and it's crippled their economy. We could have done that when the same Russian government and the same Russian leader was bombing the hell out of Syria and killed, hundreds of thousands of civilians in Syria? But we chose not to do that. And again, it's not black and white in the sense that, Syria was in the middle of a civil war, and it was harder to suss out who the good guys and bad guys were, etc. But Bashar al-Assad's a bad guy. That one was not hard to suss out, okay? And of course, Putin helped him. But let alone America invaded Iraq and Afghanistan, and we killed hundreds of thousands of civilians. And nobody did anything to us, right? Because, yes, if they don't look like you, if you can't identify them based on race, religion, and other factors, you're less sympathetic.
How many countries have we destabilized through orchestrated coups, through invasions, preemptive strikes, as we did in Iraq, and then after destabilizing these countries, after bombing them to smithereens, we have the audacity to turn our backs on the civilians who are fleeing for safety.
Yeah, well, I don't get it. I I thought you want to bomb and blow into smithereens. Why you want to help them now? Why the fuck would you want to do that? I don't understand that. You go to, you just talk about you illegally, illegally violated Iraq and Afghanistan, and yeah, there's war in Syria. Gaza Strip got bombed. And not by U.S. Military, but Israel military backed by United States of America, right? Why would you want to help those people to begin with when you want to destabilize them? And why the fuck would you want to do that? See, I don't believe in war. You do. After 9/11, then you got well, this government did a lot of creepy stuff, right? There's also that, but if you don't believe in war, then don't believe in war. It's really that simple, because it does a lot of damage, but it's not about that, is it? You talk about Syrian government, this and that, and you're talking about Syria. Yeah, whether probably Syrian refugees there, whether they're really living in Ukraine, or maybe the war, maybe they just decided just to go through Ukraine because they'll get in other countries. Maybe they should have checked where you're from, what citizen you are, maybe. And by the way, where did they get a stop? Other countries in Europe, Poland, because Poland accepted like a couple 100,000, even a million Ukrainian refugees. So where's the link to that story? And who's this guy that I have to subscribe to his newsletter or some shit to read about it? Because I clearly don't trust you, and I clearly don't trust him.
Right, and I'm not just talking about the Middle East, I'm also talking about Latin American countries that we have destabilized because we didn't like their leaders and we overthrew them. It's just, we do have to take responsibility for that.
How, casual it is, well, we didn't like the leaders, so, we overthrew them. There's plenty of people that don't like our leaders as well. But, I would love to see your race scenario when there's fucking American refugees going to Canada or Mexico.
So, while in the context of this war in Ukraine, obviously we're talking about neighboring European countries, the United States certainly is not innocent when it comes to this issue.
And by the way, let's give a little bit more nuance here. The Germans in particular, but a lot of the European countries took in a lot of Muslim refugees. They did. Right? They did way better than America in taking in refugees. So credit.
So, again, I get it. It's on the definition of ethnicity, I guess, Muslim refugees, it's a certain society organization, right, that pertains to anyone that believes in Islam. I thought we were talking about race here, not religious, which is religious beliefs. But all Muslims, they're brown, right? Like me with this. I guess I was a Muslim in the summer, but now it's the fall, and I'm getting whiter, so I'm like, a Muslim, right, that doesn't believe in Muslim, but is an Arab that lives in Ukraine, right? To some of you on Facebook, I'm a Russian faggot.
So again, not just black.
See how you all see a math to a certain degree? You really are. Yeah, you're narrow-minded and foolish.
One issue. And then if it sounds like I'm trying to excuse those behavior, I'm not, in terms of the turning back black and brown folks at the border. I'm explaining why it happens. But should it happen? Of course it shouldn't happen. They're just the same as it's so frustrating for us that sees the whole world as one, that sees human beings as indistinguishable. But even in America, not even in America, a lot of times in America's the worst at it, they really think Indonesians, that's not me, Americans are of course more valuable than Indonesians. They think it's outrageous when progressives say, yeah, an Indonesian life is just worth the same as an American life. They genuinely think that's an outrageous thing to say. Whereas I view every human the same. But
every human? Are you even human? Are you pretending to be one? Well, snake eyes over there.
Yet we have reporters saying, well, Ukraine's a civilized country.
Now, we have another video I want to get to.
I don't think there's anyone human or ex-humane on that panel. A lot of times, in the world, especially in the media. But, who knows, maybe someone that is humane works there but just keeps his or her mouth shut. It's like, I don't want to get fired, I gotta make money, what else am I gonna do? Or they're gonna hurt me.
By the way, I should note that the CBS contributor, the video that we initially showed you featuring Charlie D'Agata, he later apologized and said he regretted his comments. So I just want to be fair and note that he did apologize. Now, an NBC correspondent, though, used similar language, but I also want to give you a little more context here. She was answering a question about the double standards in regard to refugees. I think that context matters, and it puts her answer in, I think, a better light, but nonetheless, listen to the way that this NBC reporter handled this issue.
Just to put it bluntly, these are not refugees from Syria. These are refugees from neighboring Ukraine. I mean, that, quite frankly, is part of it. These are Christians, they're white.
They're Christians, they're white. Now, I think she was attempting to be, and she was being very honest about the decisions that are being made by these neighboring countries when it comes to who they allow in. And it's just jarring to see it communicated so bluntly. But it's the truth. I think that is what's happening here. There is a very clear reason why certain Ukrainian refugees are not being allowed into these neighboring countries.
Yeah, I actually am going to give those reporters a little bit of a break. They're live on air. They're stumbling over their words. They don't have a prompter there. We don't have a prompter either. All right. If we're being generous, I think she's trying to make the same point that I am.
Yeah, I think so too. I think so too.
Yeah, and so, and the guy said he regrets it, etc. But Texan, one of our members, wrote in, "You don't say, guys, racist white people turning away brown people at a border. What sort of nefarious country would do something like that?" Obviously, point well taken. Of course, that's exactly what we do at our border, right? But, and remember, guys, it's not, the Republicans painted as like, oh, illegal immigrants and they're just coming for our jobs, etc. No, a lot of them are also refugees from violence-torn countries in Latin America. So we do it on the regular. Thanks for watching the Young Turks.
I'm not gonna get to the violent-torn country. This is a violent-torn country. You know, Jack just say it. They have mangoes and papayas. I mean, you know who they are, right? Right. Violent or country. Brazil, probably. Yeah, there's some creepy, not just bestiality, there's the violence level. U.S. is above Brazil. There's places, and I know they're worshippers of the creepy stuff too, but you look at the violence statistics, U.S. is way above a lot of the countries in Latin America, South America. So just get a straight violent tone country. Like, people from the States that would go to probably certain places would be like, ¿qué le pasa en la cabeza? Mira que idiota, que loco. And not if it's me, they probably say me because I talk, but the violence level, suicide rate by handgun in the United States is #1 in the world. And look at all the violence going on. There's probably, I don't know, maybe they don't take the right statistics. Who knows who takes it? But violent whole country, give me a break with that. Just looking for the search bar of videos. How could this be? I mean, that's YouTube.
Every day, the Young Turks delivers 2 hours of solid fat.
Yeah, that's great. Well, this is ridiculous. What? Oh. I just used it the other day. Actually, on the Young Turks YouTube page. I don't want to use, the YouTube search bar. I want to use their the YouTube page search bar to look. It'd be just much easier, No, I can't be here. Yeah, I mean, then it loads up, and I get it. No. I found it. Oh, you didn't know, because I'm not gonna upload